Hello everybody, I am Sanjay Ponnappa
And this is Maruthi Acharya.
and you are watching India Today SoSouth's new episode of Two Boys and a Film. And in today's episode, we'll be reviewing the film Animal.
And before we get into the review, two things. One, these are our opinions. You can totally have a different opinion. It's totally okay. Whatever is your opinion, please mention that in the comments below. And number two, please excuse me for my hairstyle. I'm electrified with Sandeep Reddy Vanga's magic. So, yes. With that, let's start with a quick review first. And
Okay. Also, there might be some technical glitches because I am doing this from Bangalore and he is doing his review from Hyderabad. So, pardon that as well.
yes, so with that, first let's talk non-spoiler review, a quick review, and then let's jump into the spoiler-full talk and dig deep into
Yes.
Animal.
Some small information about Animal is this film is directed by Sandeep Reddy Vanga. He is the director who gave us Kabir Singh and Arjun Reddy. This film stars Ranbir Kapoor in the lead and it also has RASHMIKA Mandanna and ANIL Kapoor who play a significant role in the film. This film is a certified A film and it is only for adults and it is definitely only for adults. Even some sensitive adults might come out of this film being a little phased with everything in the film, the visuals, the dialogues, all of it. So just be ready for that. First up, let's give a quick review, a short review of the film. You go up first, Maruti.
In one line, if I have to say about this movie, I had a lot of expectations with the movie and I was kind of disappointed. It's a decent movie, but I had a lot of expectations. The performances were good, the cinematography was really, really good, and the climax portion was really good. You should watch it, but only if you're ready for a 3.5 hour runtime with a lot of deep analysis. I felt Arjun Reddy was more nuanced. They tried to go deep into character study of this animal, Ranvijay Singh character, but I kind of felt they are lost somewhere. So that's my review. What do you think, Sanjay?
So, okay, I felt that to start off with, my 3 pointers would be this is a long film, this is a good film, and the performances in this is really good. Intensity, really good. I felt like this film could have easily been more shorter. There were a lot of scenes that I felt was impactful but could still be a little more, crisp. That is what I felt. I wouldn't feel like, okay, this is too long, but I also felt like this could have been shorter, if you can understand what I'm saying. In my opinion, Balbir Singh ka beta faad diya. And this is an out and out Ranbir Kapoor show, along with a lot of other ingredients around him, making him an animal. I felt like
Bro, it reminded me when you said faad diya, that last shot where Bobby Deol actually faad dega Ranbir ka shirt and like dikhayega. Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
also one more thing, while speaking about the cast of the film, I didn't mention Bobby Deol and there is a reason for it. It might be
Yeah,
a spoiler, small spoiler alert if you're looking forward for Bobby Deol's performance. I felt a little underwhelmed because this is basically an extended cameo. He was there in 3 scenes and that's all. That was a little disappointing. Otherwise, I felt like this was a good film which talks about toxicity. It talks about its problematic elements, and I didn't feel like it was glorified. I felt like there were elevation scenes, but I didn't feel like the bad things about this was glorified. It was actually shown as a problematic thing which impacted the family a lot. And that is just a caution for the viewers. Just take it like it is. If you choose to take it as this is heroism, that is on you. But in my opinion, it is shown as a problematic element that put the family in a lot of, sorrow and grief.
With Arjun Reddy, I was really, really happy. It is still one of my favorite movies because the way the characters were dealt, or the way the arcs ended up, or the nuanced writing, especially, even though Arjun Reddy had a good 3-hour runtime, I never felt that, there's a lag in the movie or it's boring. That was not how I was feeling when I was watching that movie. But in this movie, there were so many things. And also, I personally felt like, Sandeep Reddy Vanga tried to go deep into the character in lot of dimensions and kind of lost. And I was not satisfied with any emotion that he was trying to explore from a flawed character. I would rather say it's a lost opportunity than maybe because after watching trailer and after watching the movie also, I felt it's a brilliant point, brilliant subject with it could have been a better film if they have restricted their exploration to some parts and then showed it in a better way, is what I feel.
Okay. Clearly, there is a difference of opinion here because I actually didn't feel any of it. I felt good about how they were establishing the characters. I felt good about,
Okay.
especially after watching all the promotions leading to the film, the way the actors in the film promoted or spoke about their characters, it actually resonated on the screen. They didn't falsely show something, except for Bobby Deol because I felt like he was more present in the promotions than in the film. I really felt bad about it because after the teaser and a little bit of the trailer, I was most excited for him.
I feel like Sandeep Reddy Vanga is standing like Bobby Deol in that teaser last shot where he's pointing the knife and he's asking somebody to come, right? Maybe Bobby Deol was roped into the movie like that last minute. 2 minute ke liye, aaja.
And again, his character is shown in the film. The traits, his mannerism were all good. His intro scene was really good, actually.
It's because I felt like I wanted more of Bobby Deol, but that was not there, which is the sad part.
They could have started laying at least some groundwork for his character from the beginning, instead of just bringing him in the second half. Okay, well, that was our quick review. Now we'll be getting into spoilers, so if you don't want it, go watch the film, but make sure you come back to this point and watch our spoiler talk as well. So let's talk first. First, let's talk about the main character, the animal in the film. What did you feel about the animal?
The person who played the character Sanjay was really, really good. Ranbir Kapoor is born for intense roles like this, and this time also he really, really killed it. I feel like this is his best performance. But about the character, Vijay, I felt there was some depth which was missing in the sense that there was so much that the character was trying to do. After a point, it felt like it was not resonating with me. It was not making any sense to me. Because there was lack of clarity, I would say. I felt the character could have been written in a better way with more clarity. I enjoy grey characters, dark characters. It really, gives me a very good feeling when I watch movies like that. And I liked Arjun Reddy also, but I felt clarity was a little missing with that character. What do you think?
Okay, there is clearly an opposition here because I felt like this was written well because everything he was doing, there were some seeds sown in the starting that would, give a lead because that would show that he is a character who would do such a thing. So whenever he was doing something questionable, although I felt, a little disturbed or taken aback, like how can somebody do this, which is a natural reaction that should come when an actor is doing such a role. So I felt like the character, even as a character, whatever moves he was taken, I really didn't have a problem of this clarity because he himself felt like someone who was that, menacing or problematic. Also, this character I felt like is a proper definition of a grey shade who is there for his family, who can go to any extent. We could also call him sort of a villain, but any action he was taking, any murder he was committing in this was actually in self-defense. Except for, going and hunting down Bobby Deol, no other murder in this was, actually an act of vengeance. It was all self-defense. So that is and comparing him to, in my opinion, I really don't think that Arjun Reddy or Kabir Singh is a grey character. I still feel like he's a problematic character, he's a toxic character, but I can't say that these are grounds to call somebody a grey character. And this person here, Ranvijay Singh Balbir or Balbir Singh ka beta, he was a proper definition of a grey character transitioning towards a dark character, and his family still trying to pull him back or hold him from going into complete darkness.
Yeah, I understand that point, but for some reason, the way I've received it, I felt some clarity was missing. Again, it's evident that we have different opinions. So, audience who are watching it, what do you think? Please mention that in the comments below. What did you feel about Ranveer's character?
Let us know.
Yes.
Okay, while we are speaking about Animal, let's talk about the director Sandeep Vanga Reddy because
it's Sandeep Reddy Vanga.
One film. Sandeep Reddy Vanga. Okay, Telugite. Thanks for the correction. and nobody in the comment section blast me, it was an honest mistake. Sandeep Reddy Vanga, he's only directed one film. It is two in, when you count about numbers, but story wise it's just one. And he's already he has a lot of popularity for the way he crafts films. So this is just a second film. What do you feel about a second venture as a director?
So for me, Sandeep Reddy Vanga, I really liked his Arjun Reddy, and I was in the theater today in the morning with a lot of expectations. He has done a decent job, I would say, but for my expectations, definitely I was a little disappointed. I'll tell you why. Because the kind of themes that he was exploring, and with the intensity, and technically also the movie is really sound, except the editing, everything was really, really good. And I felt when you are taking so many things, little bit of clarity and what is the character trying to say was somewhere not resonating with me. I couldn't able to differentiate with, like, I was getting so many mixed signals with the character. Sometimes it feels like this character is trying to say this and then that. So and also I watched Telugu dubbed version. Maybe that could be one of the reasons why, I don't know. But for some reason I was not able, I couldn't connect to the main character, because of which it felt a little low for me.
Okay, in my opinion, I felt like, so when the film actually took off, it actually had a pace. It was fast.
Correct.
Ranbir as a kid, Ranbir as a teenager with Sanjay Dutt hair, and all of that. Those sequences were actually pretty swift, which after watching Arjun Reddy or something, I have noticed that Sandeep writes his, stories scene-wise. Each scene is actually slowly developed. There is this dialogue, and then it goes on, and it develops. It reaches a peak.
He follows the 3-act rule proper.
Yeah. So scene-wise, each film is written, and in this film also, the way his scenes were written, I felt like in the initial stage, this film is going to be fast. But after we reach this mature phase of, Ranbir, where he is actually in this animal phase, that is where it actually slowed down and came back to the Sandeep template. That is what I noticed. And apart from, pointing that out, I didn't really feel like he failed any characters. Although I felt like Bobby Deol, except for Bobby Deol, and Anil Kapoor could have gotten a little more time.
Yeah.
What I felt.
Even Ranbir Kapoor was asking for that.
He failed. Ranbir Kapoor?
Even Ranbir Kapoor was asking for that. Time. Papa, time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it was Sandeep's fault. Maybe Animal will go after Sandeep next.
So we've spoken about Ranbir and Sandeep Reddy Vanga. There are so many other big actors like Anil Kapoor, RASHMIKA Mandanna, Bobby Deol. So what do you think about other actors?
Okay, Anil Kapoor was doing a good job, but in the climax scene is where his acting prowess actually kicked in on screen. The father and son heart-to-heart moment, that is where Anil Kapoor's acting came out. Otherwise, he was this, normal businessman Anil Kapoor that we've already seen in Dil Dhadakne Do, in my opinion.
Same. With Anil Kapoor, he was, exactly, if he had more screen time, I think we could have seen a lot more scenes, connecting scenes and something like that, which was missing. Even though he had 3.5 hour runtime, Bobby Deol and Anil Kapoor, he couldn't accommodate. I don't know what to say.
Bobby Deol is, at least Anil Kapoor was starring in this film. Bobby Deol had an extended cameo, that's all.
Yo, but I must... Yeah.
There were literally just 3 or 4 scenes with Bobby Deol. The one is the wedding.
One is white shirt and blue blazer. The next one is green color costume. And the third one is the climax one with that shirt and then no shirt. It's just 3 scenes. Yeah. But I what do you think about Rashmika's performance? I really, really liked her performance, even though I had some problems with her character, the way it was written, but her performance was really, really, really good.
Again, this is probably an unpopular opinion. I'll let you take a lead on it, because I was low-key worried. Would I be biased because I'm really liking this performance? Would I sound biased? Because that is an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, for even I feel that maybe I kind of felt Rashmika is just there, and what Preeti did in Arjun Reddy, maybe that is what is her role bare minimum. But then she got good role, she's got meat in her role, and she did a brilliant job. I was really surprised.
Especially in that argument scene
Yeah,
with her, the Karwa Chauth scene.
yeah, that scene was really
I
good.
really felt that intensity.
Yeah, and also the scene where she's talking to her parents.
USP. I think this is his USP. Creating intensity in a scene is his USP. I just loved every scene he created intensity in.
I feel like he's taking the sound, like technically also this movie is very sound, Sanjay, because there are some scenes where he tried to create that, when you make a horror film, right, that's when you take the audios above the -6 decibel level. Like, let's not get into the technicalities, but above the normal level. There are a lot of scenes where the scene is intense, right? There is utter silence, and then there's that very silent sound, not silence, sound, and then suddenly the audio hits that note, and you get that kind of thing. So there are moments for Rashmika also where that kind of technique is used, and I think it's his USP to create environment like that.
Exactly. So Rashmika, again, performance-wise, I felt like this is her best performance till date. I can see a clear trajectory of her growing, and it feels like doing a film with amazing performers like Ranbir, and a director who has this capability to bring out your best performance like Sandeep actually turned Rashmika from a heroine to an actress.
I definitely agree with that. And also, as I told, technicalities also supported. Yeah, technicalities. Sanjay, what do you think? Technically, Animal.
Again, everything else, cinematography and all were good, but one thing that stood out for me was the Foley sounds. Every time there was, during these action sequence especially, the axis slashing, the bullet sounds, the meat getting slashed, all those sounds actually, I noticed the difference between other films and this film, which is why I loved. That is, apart from the usual technicalities that we speak about, which is cinematography and all, which these days everybody are picking up, everyone has a signature. We noticed all of that, we know all of that. But this is one unique thing that I really liked in this film, the Foley sounds.
So technically, I really enjoyed this movie, the sound, the BGMs, and the use of Mani Ratnam songs, A.R. Rahman songs, and that Ajay Atul music. That is again classic Sandeep Reddy Vanga mark. He has done that with Arjun Reddy also, and I was really impressed with that. But for me, the biggest problem was with the editing. I really felt like not just some good 10-15 minutes, you can aram se chop off one 30-minute cut from the movie and it still looks same. In fact, I feel it will look more grippier than what it is right now.
I felt like that wouldn't be the fault of only the editing, but also a little bit on the writing.
Writing, exactly.
Also, this felt justified. I felt like it could have been written a little more in a shorter and crisper version and still have the same impact that it has now. And I have a question. You like the BGM throughout the film?
I liked the idiom BGM where because it was going in sync with the fight, okay? So when there is there are a lot of, even in that axe fight scene where there's a Marathi BGM playing in the background, the camera movement and the actor's movement was properly crafted, I would say, because it's in sync with the music, and an entire stretch of an action sequence being in a sync, getting that technically is an achievement, I would say. So and when you look at as
was really great.
Yeah.
I think that was the only action sequence in the film that is that amazing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the high that it went to, it actually came down a little when the gun came out, the big gun.
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, now they are going into the field of Fast and Furious. And
Maybe Bollywood will like it, Sanjay, because down south here we do that for every other movie, but there for them maybe they've not seen stuff like that, so maybe they might enjoy.
Maybe not. Let's see.
So what did you think about the gun thing? That whatever the car
Again,
gun.
I was on a really high note after the action and all that. The comedy also spilled in between was amazing. But when this thing came, I was actually excited when I saw the gun as well. But in between, after he started firing, suddenly from the first floor, he's come down with a bomb blast, which didn't make a lot of logic. I tried to, like, turn a blind eye towards it, but it still hurt a little bit. And then after that, once he started firing, I saw all these people just flying in the air with the bullet, which was a little annoying.
There was clearly some laziness which I felt both in terms of writing and some action sequences, because when you see the gunfight and the gun scene and the axe fight, right, it's clearly evident that even the reaction, mostly people focus on the action if Ranbir Kapoor is hitting with the axe, and that is captured, and the reaction a lot of times they don't capture, but the reaction intensity, there were a lot of doubles who were just flying like this or getting that properly. It was very properly done, and when there's a big gun like this and firing was happening, and sometimes even the graphics of that bullets was also so shabby. Yeah, so that's definitely a letdown. Okay, so overall, if I ask you one good scene, one memorable thing about the movie and one bad thing about the movie, what will that be?
Okay, I have two memorable things about the movie. Again, there are many good scenes. I'll just list it out: climax scene, the post-credit scene, this fight scene until the big gun comes out, Rashmika and Ranveer's fight. But if I had to choose among them, I would choose the action sequence, especially the gunfight and the axe fight, and then Rashmika and Ranveer's fight, the argument.
Okay.
And the bad scene is the gun scene, and all the other scenes which were just there. It didn't have an impact. I was just watching it. It didn't make me laugh. It didn't make me feel anything. It was just for the sake of the story. But there were a lot of those scenes which I felt like, I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, for me, the good scenes are, one is that intro shot where he's dancing at Rashmika's engagement with all the A.R. Rahman music, and the way that was shot, there was some magic in that scene. Ranbir, that lighting, I don't know what, that scene really struck with me. I think I have to rewatch the movie and see and try to understand why that scene resonated with me so much. And the other scene is definitely the climax portion where both of them were talking. I really wanted more of that kind of scenes in the movie, but weirdly that was not the situation for me. I expected more of that, so it's my opinion. Again, the most disappointing thing I would say is too much of underwear discussion was happening, bro. It's just one example, I'm telling you. There are so many scenes like that where you remember those underwear conversations, right? Out of nowhere, randomly underwear is being talked about.
Yeah.
It was not creating. So there are so many moments like that which are not making any sense. Instead of that, they could have used that for Bobby Deol or Anil Kapoor or understanding Ranbir Kapoor's character. That is what I was expecting from the movie, but there were so many subplots like this which were useless. So that kind of disappointed me.
Okay. Yes, these are one of those scenes which were like there. Again, I wouldn't call it useless, because whatever the whole scene that happened over there comes back as a joke during the fight sequence.
No, for me that didn't land.
Be more crisper and still have the same impact is what I'm trying to get to.
So these are like the points about the movie, whether what we liked or what we like. Overall, Sanjay, what do you think about Animal?
See, one thing that I'm very sure of is, there's going to be a lot of debate, fiery debate. There's going to be a clear split between people who liked it and not. In our case, it is about the technicality and all, but morally speaking, there's going to be a split between people who found it, toxic masculinity was very evident in this film. Some people would like it, some people wouldn't. But I feel like there's also going to be a split between who feel like, oh, this has been glorified, all that. So that is probably unnecessary, because in my opinion, while all these disturbing scenes were shown, it was again shown in the light that this actor or this character is, in the dark. He is not a good guy. Nowhere is this been glorified when he is being toxic. It is actually, in the follow-up scenes, it's actually shown him also as a vulnerable person. It is just a character trait in my opinion, and nowhere is this shown that this is how you are supposed to be. So I would like to put across this message to any viewer. In my opinion, this is how the character has been shown. So please don't go in thinking, okay, this is good or bad. Just accept the character as it is shown by the director.
Yeah, so for me
And go
also,
watch the film for yourself, because clearly everybody is going to have a different opinion about this one.
yeah. So similarly, I will also say something similar, because even though I had a lot of problems with the movie, the themes that the director wanted to discuss, you know, those are the topics that should be discussed, but the way it was dealt with, you know, personally, I have some more clarity issues with the movie, but it's like, you know, the toxic masculinity part of it, audience will definitely fall in splits, and with the perspective of not trying to understand, judge, or, you know, try to put the character in a box, imagine a situation where this is the situation and this is how the character is responding. For entertainment purpose, if you watch it, you might definitely like the movie.
Okay, also, as a concluding note, if you, after watching the film, if you felt like, you know, we need to talk about this more, about the kind of shade shown in the film, the kind of character traits and all, do let us know in the comment section below, and we will definitely come back only talking about, you know, these characteristics in the film that are shown by the characters.
Yes. So that's it for today's video. We'll be back with another interesting video of two boys on a movie, and we'll be doing that pretty often in the coming days. So for that, please subscribe to our channel. If you liked Animal movie, please give us a like. If you didn't, mention it in the comments below. What are your thoughts about it? So this is Maruthi Acharya, you remember, right?
And I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
And you're watching India Today, SoSouth.